Right, all right. Okay, I think we have some audio there now. Wow, that was unexpected there. We had a power outage. Just it wasn't very long, just a little bit of flicker, and just everything just went off here just earlier. If you're new to this, if you're just watching this replay or something like that, the last video that we were doing, it just a little bit of a power flicker here, and is just enough to set everything off, and I had to just start this over again. Very, very hot here, and probably a lot of people have their air conditioner on and fans and such, so that could be the reason why we're having this kind of difficulty. Anyways, welcome back, everyone. What I'm going to be doing here, because it's getting so late, I am just going to read some of Josephus. I'm going to read some of Josephus, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Let me just see if I can. Okay, just a minute here. Anybody, let me see here. Where are we? Joseph says, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Little bit of a power outage there earlier. This is, again, where I am here. It's just super hot, and everybody must have their air conditioner on, and it just must have tripped something out here just for a minute. All right, so anyways, we're back here, and because it's getting so late, I am going to skip the rest of the comments. For those of you who, if I haven't gotten to your comment yet, my apologies. Things are just going so, we're just having so much fun here. As I say, time flies when we're having fun, and it's been over 3 hours now. So I'm just going to skip those other comments and go right to Josephus, since that we advertise as Josephus, this to include Josephus as well. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me see here. Just want to make sure everything is at least partially running, hopefully. For some reason, TikTok is giving me a hard time here. I'm not going to be able to do that. All right. Anyways, yeah. So we're going to read from the Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. This is Book 7. Chapter 9, and we're going to read the last half of this chapter, starting at paragraph 5. All right, here we are. It says, But when Absalom and Ahithophel, his counselor, were come to Jerusalem with all the people, David's friend, Hushai, came to them. And when he had worshipped Absalom, he withal wished that his kingdom might last a long time and continue for all ages. But when Absalom said to him, How comes this, that he who was so intimate a friend to my fathers and appeared faithful to him in all things is not with him now, but has left him and is come over to me? Hushai's answer was very pertinent and prudent. For he said, We ought to follow God and the multitude of the people, while these, therefore, my Lord and Master, are with you. It is fit that I should follow them, for you have received the kingdom from God. I will therefore, if you believe me to be your friend, show the same fidelity and kindness to you, which you know I have shown to your father. Nor is there any reason to be in the least dissatisfied with the present state of affairs, for the kingdom is not transferred into another, but remains still in the same family, by the son's receiving it after his father. This speech persuaded Absalom, who before suspected Hushai, and now he called Ahithophel and consulted with him what he ought to do. He persuaded him to go in unto his father's concubines, for he said that, quote, By this action the people would believe that your difference with your father is irreconcilable, and will thence fight with great alacrity against your father. For hitherto they were afraid of taking up open enmity against him out of an expectation that you will be reconciled again, unquote. Accordingly, Absalom was prevailed on by this advice and commanded his servants to pitch him a tent upon the top of the royal palace in the sight of the multitude. And he went in and lay with his father's concubines. Now this came to pass according to the prediction of Nathan, when he prophesied and signified to him that his son would rise up in rebellion against him. And when Absalom had done what he was advised to by Ahithophel, he desired his advice in the second place about the war against his father. Now Ahithophel only asked him to let him have 10,000 chosen men, and he promised he would slay his father and bring the soldiers back again in safety. And he said that then the kingdom would be firm to him when David was dead, but not otherwise. Absalom was pleased with this advice and called for Hushai, David's friend. For so did he style him. And informing him of the opinion of Ahithophel, he asked further what was his opinion concerning that matter. Now he was sensible that if Ahithophel's counsel were followed, David would be in danger of being seized on and slain. So he attempted to introduce a contrary opinion and said, "You are not unacquainted, O king, with the valor of your father and of those that are now with him, that he has made many wars and has always come off with victory, though probably he now abides in the camp, for he is very skillful in stratagems and in foreseeing the deceitful tricks of his enemies. Yet will he leave his own soldiers in the evening, and will either hide himself in some valley or will place an ambush at some rock, so that when our army joins battle with him, his soldiers will retire for a little while, but will come upon us again, as encouraged by the king's being near them. And in the meantime, your father will show himself suddenly in the time of the battle, and will infuse courage into his own people when they are in danger, but bring consternation to thine. Consider therefore my advice, and reason upon it, and if you can not but acknowledge it to be the best. But the opinion of Ahithophel, reject the opinion of Ahithophel. Send to the entire country of the Hebrews and order them to come and fight with your father, and do you yourself take the army, and be your own general in this war, and do not trust its management to another. Then expect to conquer him with ease, when you overtake him openly with his few partisans, but have yourself many 10,000s who will be desirous to demonstrate to you their diligence and alacrity. And if your father shall shut himself up in some city and bear a siege, we will overthrow that city with machines of war, and by undermining it." When Hushai had said this, he obtained his point against Ahithophel, for his opinion was preferred by Absalom before the others. However, it was no other than God who made the counsel of Hushai appear best to the mind of Absalom. Paragraph 7. So Hushai made haste to the high priest Zadok and Abiathar, and told them the opinion of Ahithophel and his own, and that the resolution was taken to follow this latter advice. He therefore bade them send to David and tell him of it, and to inform him of the counsels that had been taken, and to desire him further to pass quickly over Jordan, lest his son should change his mind and make haste to pursue him, and so prevent him and seize upon him before he be in safety. Now the high priest and their sons concealed in a proper place out of the city, that they might carry news to David of what was transacted. Accordingly, they sent a maidservant, whom they could trust to them, to carry the news of Absalom's counsels, and ordered them to signify the same to David with all speed. So they made no excuse nor delay, but taking along with them their father's injunctions, because pious and unfaithful ministers, and judging that quickness and suddenness was the best mark of faithful service, they made haste to meet with David. But certain horsemen saw them when they were 2 furlongs from the city, and informed Absalom of them, who immediately sent some to take them. But when the sons of the high priest perceived this, they went out of the road and betook themselves to a certain village. That village was called Bahurim. There they desired a certain woman to hide them and afford them security. Accordingly, she let the young men down by a rope into a well, and laid fleeces of wool over them. And when those that pursued them came to her and asked her whether she saw them, she did not deny that she had seen them, for that they stayed with her some time. But she said, they then went their ways. And she foretold that, however, if they would follow them directly, they would catch them. But when after a long pursuit, they could not catch them, they came back again. And when the woman saw those men were returned, and that there was no longer any fear of the young men's being caught by them, she drew them up by the rope, and bade them go on their journey accordingly. They used great diligence in the prosecution of that journey, and came to David, and informed him accurately of all the counsels of Absalom. So he commanded those that were with him to pass over Jordan while it was night, and not to delay at all on that account. Last paragraph, paragraph 8. But Ahithophel, on rejection of his advice, got upon his donkey and rode away to his own country, Gilon, and calling his family together, he told them distinctly what advice he had given Absalom, and since he had not been persuaded by it, he said he would evidently perish, and this in no long time, and that David would overcome him and return to his kingdom again. And so he said it was better that he should take his own life away with freedom and magnanimity than expose himself to be punished by David, in opposition to whom he had acted entirely for Absalom. When he had discoursed thus to them, he went into the inmost room of his house and hanged himself. And thus was the death of Ahithophel, who was self-condemned. And when his relations had taken him down from the halter, they took care of his funeral. Now, as for David, he passed over Jordan, as we have said already, and came to Mahanaim. Every fine and very strong city, and all the chief men of the country received him with great pleasure, both out of the shame they had that he should be forced to flee away from Jerusalem, and out of the respect they bare him while he was in his former prosperity. These were Barzillai the Gileadite, and Siphar, the ruler among the Ammonites, and Machir, the principal man of Gilead. These furnished him with plentiful provisions for himself and his followers, insomuch that they wanted no beds nor blankets for them, nor loaves of bread, nor wine. Nay, they brought them a great many cattle for slaughter, and afforded them what furniture they wanted for their refreshment when they were weary, and for food, with plenty of other necessaries. Okay, so that will conclude the reading for tonight. Tomorrow, Lord willing, we'll do chapter 10. How, when Absalom was beaten, he was caught in a tree by his hair and was slain. What Yes, that's what we're going to be reading. Quite the stories that we're reading here. Anyways, guys, that'll be it for tonight. I know this is a shorter video because the last one we had that little glitch in the system here. Anyways, Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, to continue. Until then, as always, keep calling on him and he will show you great and mighty things. You guys are awesome. You guys are world changers. Love you guys. As always, I pray the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face to shine upon you, lift up his countenance upon you, and give you wonderful, wonderful shalom. Amen.